Hello everybody, it's Kelly Jensen again with Homesteading Hints with Ted Lare, and today we're going to be talking about transplanting our early season vegetables from plug trays into the ground. And these plug trays are what we use to start the seeds. It's been just under a month ago, I believe, in one of our first videos. And we start them inside just to give them a little bit of a head start and to get them going prior to the warm weather, because these crops actually like the cool season. They don't like it when it gets real hot. You have a lot of issues with them when it gets real hot out. So if we can get them in the ground, like this is going to be just about a month or a little less than a month from when we plant most of the rest of our stuff. So they're going to get a head start on that, and we'll get them in the ground and get them acclimated, and they should be growing real good in the next couple of weeks. We have broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and kohlrabi that we're going to be planting today. I believe there's 60 plugs. We're going to be planting them in this area right here, which I've already tilled, and they're actually, it's very simple on planting them. I dig them out of the plug tray with just with my little marker here. Just pop them out, and they come out like this. And then you just take them and just open up the ground a little bit, press them in. Be sure to press around them to get the air pockets out, because they will have air pockets in freshly tilled soil that you want to kind of get out of that so it doesn't dry out completely. We're going to go ahead, and when we're done, we're going to go ahead and put this cold frame right behind me here over top. Libby and I will put this over top of it, and that'll be a good windbreak for all these little plants. And it's also going to be a protector like we did with the lettuce, where we can put our mesh over top of it and keep the rabbits and whatnot out of it, is the plan. And that way it's got some good protection from the two problems you usually have, which is wind. When you're transplanting anything from a greenhouse, you're going to have wind issue, where it's going to beat up the plants a lot easier because they're not used to all that wind. You can do some acclimating by bringing them out during the day prior to and putting them back into the greenhouse at night before you plan on transplanting them. I usually don't do too much of that. To me, my greenhouse is, the door is usually open and things like that, so it gets a pretty good breeze through there during the day anyhow. And if I have this block like this, it's still pretty safe for them and pretty protected. So that's usually what we do there. You can use like a black pot like this, which I've cut the bottom out of, and you can take, if you don't have a cold frame, which most people probably don't, and people use this a lot around tomatoes and peppers and things like that to get started, or milk jugs or things like that. Just place over top of your plant and just kind of mound it up around it a little bit to hold it in place so the wind doesn't blow it, and keep that on there until they reach the top of the pot basically, or a little bit above it, and then you can just pull it off. But that keeps them from getting beat up by the wind also. And what else this black will do is it will heat the soil up a little bit faster, which will get them acclimated to the ground temperature a little bit faster, and the roots will be able to get started a little bit quicker and reach out quicker and get into the ground. So it's actually a very simple setup we use, and I don't do anything special. This had potatoes in it last year, and so it had straw in it, like I showed you in the last video, that settled down in and we tilled in, and so it's got some good carbon in there and some good organic matter to break down and add to the soil. I will probably later on, when they get a little bit bigger, I'll probably bring in either grass clippings or more straw to go around it to keep the weeds down. And you can do that on pretty much anything, but it especially works on these single plants that you do with plugs, because it's easier to get in and around them, and you're not worried about covering them up like you would be with, say, lettuce or carrots or things like that you plant as seeds. It's a little bit harder on that. I usually do those after the emergence of those plants. So these you can do right away, or you can wait a little bit until they get established and put the clippings or the straw around it. But that's pretty much all we do. Uh, what's that?
You can buy them?
Yes, yes. The store has all of these. There's all the kohlrabi, the cabbage, the cauliflower. A lot of them are there already, or we will be getting them in this next week, I believe, too. So if you don't start any of these things yourself, which a lot of people don't want to mess with, a lot of people don't have the room for it, just go ahead and go down to the garden center, and you can get a hold of just about any of these with different varieties among them to utilize in your garden instead. And they'll actually be probably quite a bit bigger than this. These plug trays are what I use, and it doesn't bother me to start out with smaller things. But it would be nice if you had a little bit bigger ones, and I know that the store has a little bit bigger leaves and a little bit bigger plants. So to get started, you're already ahead of the game on that. So I believe that's it. Until next week, we'll see you later and have fun.